Hey guys, all right, I'm here taking a minute, quick minute in between travels and flying this last week and this coming week. It's not treasure related. I'm not going to Dillon. It's just some personal vacation, spending some time with some family. So we got a little, I had, I think, an epiphany the other day, and I was waiting to get a chance to sit down in front of a camera, take a few seconds to breathe, and get it out there. So I'm not going to make you wait. The story we're going to read today is the minority mix-up, and I do have some notes from this one, but I'm not going to make you wait to the end to get to what I think is the most important part of the video. So I was watching a show, I think on Amazon Prime, called The Jury or The Juror, recommended by my sister. Hilarious show, very funny. And there were several shots of Lady Justice. And if you don't know what this lady looks like, it's a statue. Most courthouses, sometimes it's on seals of states or government buildings. And it's a lady kind of with like a toga robe. She's got a blindfold over her eyes, holding scales in one hand. And most of the time, she's holding a sword in the other hand. And there's a lot of representation, a lot of allegory, a lot of metaphors or whatever in that symbolism. However, I think the third or fourth time I saw it in the courthouse or on the seal, I keyed in on the blindfold. And I just had a thought, shadowed sight. And so I couldn't wait for the show to be over to get back to the poem and do a little bit of research. And this is one of the strongest feelings, strongest connections for shadowed sight, I feel, that matches with the book, with Netflix, and the overall theme of the poem. Right? Early on, shadowed sight, people were talking about canyon walls or the underhang of something or in the literal shadow of something, and it never really felt right. I had a few ideas that never really felt right. Shadowed sight meaning the words before some sort of code. That's a signal for there's a hidden message in that line. But as far as places going, I really liked justice being the what you're supposed to get from that phrase, shadowed sight. All right, and I like the connection there because it's not something you would think of right off the bat. And even if you do get to justice, how do you apply it? So what I did was I searched all the main states, looking for cities, rivers, parks, places that had the word justice in it. And then I went one layer deep, looked at the roots for Lady Justice. I guess she's called Themis or just Justitia in the Latin and in the history, and didn't find anything. The strongest connection I found was Mount Justice in Colorado. Now, don't get all excited. I don't think the treasure is there, but look what's next. If you're interested in this at all, look at Mount Justice and look at the few peaks around it. Right, you've got Bear Mountain and you've got Treasure Mountain, just like right next to it. So it's in Gunnison. Gunnison, I believe, is the area it's at. So very, very appealing for me. However, I had to change a few things because in my original solve I had 4 places. Right? Can you find what lives in time? 4. Right? And the first spot was the 4 corners. I didn't really feel amazing about it because the only thing I have is 4 that connects it. However, my new way of thinking now, and I'll release probably next week an updated map of an updated location of where I think the final boots on the ground spot will be. But I like the way that my new interpretation is, can you find what lives in time, flowing through each measured rhyme? So it's saying 4. We're looking for 4 things. It's going to be 4 things. And the first thing is not as hope surges. The first thing is wisdom waits in shadowed sight, for those who read these words just right. So your wisdom waits in shadowed sight. There's also a nice connection with wisdom and justice. Wisdom and truth kind of appear throughout the rest of this poem. And there's a nice underlaying of justice in the book, talking about frontier justice, right, where he talks about in Montana and Bannock and the lore surrounding those towns of some of the corrupt sheriffs, right? And as far as his own version of right and wrong as he continues through, it's just I like that theme, and I like the idea, right? Because Now we're starting to see Justin engage more, and he's going to engage a lot this weekend. So pay attention to any personalized signatures that he signs, right? We've seen have fun in the American West in some signatures. We've seen, that theme of enjoy the American West. And I really feel like the major theme for the poem is, our westward expansion, you could even tie a little bit into, that's where I get Columbia from, right? It's from our westward expansion. I like the idea of frontier justice, and then as towns become more and more civilized, right, as the East catches up to the West, and Gracie's Girl, that famous chapter where he talks about the stoplights in the middle as the town, slowly changes. So that's kind of the big nugget for today. I was really excited to share that. I felt good thinking about that. It really feels like I nailed down that first spot. I feel really confident with Mountain Justice. It just feels like it fits. I feel really good about Columbia. I feel really good about his realm, and I did some thinking about that, but I don't know if I want to cover it this. Okay, I guess I will. We're already here. So the big thing I kept going. I watched several interviews over and over again, and I reread Jenny Mysterious Writings, 6 Questions. If you haven't done that, you really need to. Jenny Kyle, Mysterious Writings, her 6 Questions with Justin, incredibly insightful. So do yourself a favor and read that 4 or 5 times. But where he answers, he does this in each interview. He answers a question that's not even asked. So she's asking about the clues, Netflix, and the book. He goes above and beyond. I think it's like the 4th question out of 6. And he says something about the poem, I guess you could solve it in a vacuum, but like his friend who can identify wine blindfolded, and he identifies a Welch's grape juice as some fancy schmancy Bordeaux or something. So basically, I got from that yeah, maybe technically, sure, you can solve the poem in a vacuum, but really you need the book and you need the Netflix, right? So look at there's several people in the poem, right? There's there's his, there's a bride, there's a few others, right? If you were trying to find a specific person that's the bride, or a specific person that's the his, or a specific person that's the I, and how are you going to even get that, right, without the book and Netflix? I hope I'm communicating the point in my head that's crystal clear. And that's why he said it's going to be almost impossible to figure out who I'm talking about if you don't have Netflix and the book. If you just have the poem, how are you going to, guessing or searching randomly the internet to figure out the people that the pronouns are referring to? And so that leads, if you follow that correlation, in the book and in Netflix, there is a person that he's talking about or referring to, right? Or a place, I guess, metaphorically or something. So I really like the idea that the his is the grandfather, because in order to have a realm, I was toying around this idea all past couple of days. A realm, you need authority. Because a realm, to me, symbolizes or means that someone has authority to force that area to be part of their domain, right? To have a kingdom. You need a king to have a kingdom. You need some kind of authority figure in order to rule over a realm. And one of the strongest authority figures in the book is Grandpa Fitz, right? So I really like that connection. I'm struggling a little bit with Ursa East, all right? And I have some loose things for it, but it's not nailed down, right? So I feel really great about the first stanza, the second stanza, the third. I'm a little bit weak, and I really feel great about Granite Arcs. I really like the location I have for that, which if you don't know, look at my videos. But all this leads me to believe, we've got several things. We've got family, we've got the 4 cardinal directions, we've got justice, we've got, a little bit, it's not really Native American, it's just a nod to the past in general, with the whole petroglyphs and the sacred space, time, swift race, which I like and I think fits well with the book, especially this next chapter we're going to read, the minority mix-up. So it's not so much there's a Native American theme in the book, or he calls out Native Americans. It's he pays homage to the past in general, and I think that's the theme, and it fits well with the last point. All right, so I'll do an updated soft solve video with a new spot soon-ish. But let's go ahead and get into the minority mix-up, all right? And there's a few interesting things. Some chapters I kind of go through, and there's nothing really that stands out at me. But this one, I think you're going to find interesting. All right. Thought I had it saved right here. All right, page 88, the minority mix-up, all right? And this is, I love this sentence right off the bat. The sweet aroma of my youthful ambition, a bouquet of treasure hunting, fishing, and keyboard tapping, all right? So those three things I think are really important. It sounds like a throwaway line. Sounds like some more flowery writing, right? But I like the tie-in of sweet aroma coming from several stories where an aroma makes him vomit. But the sweet aroma of his youthful ambition are treasure hunting, fishing, and keyboard tapping. And I believe you can find those three elements in the poem also. You can find the treasure hunting element. You can find the fishing element, right? And you can find the keyboard or SQL database, right? You'll see a lot of database and database and what was the other one with the D directories? Sorry, something in my nose. in this one. All right, so starts off with a joke, right? He's a jock. If by jock you mean, a nerd. So then we go into some fish analogies right there. We get into a little bit of a math, hypotenuse of a triangle, which is interesting with foot of 3, right? That might come into play with a solve, a little foot of 3. But again, I don't like just picking random small words out of stories and having those be big things in a solve. All right. So the main point of this story is kind of humorous. And in the title makes it clear. Some titles are a little bit more ambiguous, but this one is clear, the minority mix-up. So the theory is that somewhere along the line in his elementary, early school days, Justin clicked a box on a standardized test that said, what's your ethnicity? And being a young child and loving America, which I think is a big theme for the poem, he assumed that Native American, yeah, I was born in America, I'm a Native American. All right, click that box. And he must have done that a few times because the state seems to have record of him being a Native American. So he's in high school, and he meets with the guidance counselor. And, he does have a little bit of trouble, which I can definitely relate to. He's intelligent, he's good at tests, he's good at the knowledge. However, it's doing the homework that he seems to have a problem with. I can definitely relate, right? It's not that he doesn't know how to do it. It's not that he can't do it. It's he has other things he'd rather do. So he meets with the guidance counselor. She suggests that he starts attending this group. In his mind, I guess he's like, it's for kids who are struggling with homework. He slowly realizes that, yeah, man, these kids have, they're dealing with real issues outside with their home lives and with school. And he kind of doesn't, so he kind of stays quiet. And then one day it just clicks, they all have a darker skin tone and he doesn't. And he realizes that he's placed in, he realizes he's placed in a Native American class and a Native American meeting group, right? And the teacher thinks he's Native American. And so he tries to tell her no, I'm not. And she's like, yes, you are. The state says you are. He's like, well, if the state says I am, the state's never wrong. So he goes home. He asks his mom. His mom's like, no, that's silly. I would know, believe me. I have a pretty good grasp on your family genealogy and you're not. So he goes back and I guess he just doesn't want to push back too hard against the school because why not? And he goes with it, and he gets a small perk out of it. It's getting 2 parking passes. Now, this part did trip me up a little bit. I wondered if there was some other message here, because why would you give a high school student 2 passes? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know why, especially if they're so rare and coveted. Why would you give 2 to an underclassman when typically they're for seniors? So he gets 2, and he gives 1 to his friend. So I'm like, is he trying to tell us to focus on the friend? Is there something more there with 2? I don't know. In the end, I kind of passed over it. But if it tickles your funny bone or raises something on your radar, feel free to dig into that. Why he got 2 instead of 1? It just doesn't make sense to me that he would get 2 instead of 1. So anyways, that was a big perk for him. He was, one of the few underclassmen that had a parking pass, gave it to his buddy. He has a not kind of not politically correct Native American nickname called Running Water, right? Which, I don't know if I want to take too much into that, because it seems like something high schoolers would say to each other as a joke, but it also seems like it could fit with the poem, with the theme. And then it goes into kind of it all comes to a head where senior year he gets a scholarship that's clearly for Native Americans, and he has to provide some paperwork to finalize the documents, and obviously he doesn't have it, so it all comes kind of tumbling down. but there's no repercussions, right? Because in the end, I mean, he told the school, right? So it's their end. There's a few things I do want to call out here. Top of page 92 starts with, had all the joviality of a tax audit. If you have an ebook and you're able to search tax audit, tax auditor, IRS, comes up like 3 or 4 times in the book. And I don't know if he's just familiar with those laws because he was working on it for the treasure hunt, so it's on his mind. So when he's making using analogies, it's on the top of his brain. Or if there's something more there. If there's something more there, I don't know what would be there. I think it'd be cheesy and corny if somehow IRS, the letters played into, was the key for a cipher or something. I don't think that would be it. So I wanted to call out that one. And then let's see, there's a couple other things. Loopholes, right? So a lot of mention about loopholes about the past few chapters with the weepholes and with weepholes and the tender tornado, right? So page 90 toward the bottom, there's more loopholes. Let's see, what else? A few other things I want to pull out. But the main thing I got from this chapter is probably the one chapter that really addresses Native Americans, other than when his father talks about petroglyphs and later. And it's kind of just a mentioning, there's no specific tribe mentioned or Native Americans, it's just kind of like the petroglyphs that are there, which is why I think in the poem, petroglyphs are more important and paying homage or calling out the past and the history and the writing and the archaeology versus the culture of a particular tribe. I think that's what we're focusing on. And to me, this chapter kind of confirms that because, it's not disrespectful. It's honest. He's talking about, remember, this chapter is from a high schooler, right? So it's not Justin talking about Native Americans, right? It's a high schooler, a humorous story he's experiencing, and this is kind of the one story that addresses Native Americans or talks about them, and it's kind of a humorous kind of thing, right? So again, to me, this kind of is saying, hey, there's no big Native American solve, no Trail of Tears, no, like I had a Monument Valley solve early on, and this is kind of, and I had an Apache, 4 sacred mountains, and it's kind of telling me like, hey, move away from that, right? So that's what I got from it. What else I want to pull out? There's a few other phrases that I wanted to pull out. Ostrich in the sand, a week or two. Swiss watch. Playing hooky, adult luxury, come and go as you please, freedom. No, I think that's bus-bound peasants. That's kind of the main thing I wanted to point out. There's database, obviously. So bottom of page 89, we have, where is it? I just saw it. Here we go. Here was a person charged with guiding young minds, seemingly unable to update her own database. All right, and you can do, if you have an ebook, search database, search directories, because they're in this chapter a few times, but they appear throughout the book several times. So I think that lends strong credence to the whole SQL, not cipher, technical element following the second M dash. The more I get into it, I'm not sure, the first M dash, I'm not sure the thing I had with the subtraction, the equation, and getting the M and N, I'm not sure if that's the correct one, because nothing I've found is really super significant. My current solves are in New Mexico. They're not. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, that's I think that's all I wanted to do. It's a short video today. Got a bunch more traveling. I've got some good stuff I want to share, but I want to sit down and share with you and show a couple maps and some more interactive stuff. But thanks for watching. Let's see. Enjoy if you're in Dillon. Enjoy it. Please share in the comments or please share in Discord your experiences, because I can't be there, so I want to hear how the book signing is going to go. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure to subscribe to Essie's Quest, like, and put comments. I go off of your engagement, so if certain videos have more engagement and more comments, more likes, those are the ones that I'm going to lean forward to. I'll always continue to search on my own personal time about, I'm big into the Appalachian Trail Box. I just won't do as many videos on it because the engagement seems a little bit lower on that. So I'm just assuming that not a lot of people are into that one, right? So again, if you like a video, if you want to see more of that particular hunt, if you want to see more of that particular box or more of that particular theory, like it, and put a comment and subscribe. All right. Bye, guys. Good luck.
Now listen, all you treasure hunters, searching all around for plunder. Do you need some help to be your best? There's something that you're trying to find, but you're about to lose your mind. So come on, listen in to Estes Quest. Estes Quest, the show where he'll be sharing clues. Estes Quest will chase away your searcher's blues. He's solving puzzles with a smile. He'll help your theories pass the trial.